What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto betrayed and becomes Gilgamesh? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. Naruto was staring at the plain white walls of the hospital room where he was laying. Bandages could be seen wrapped around his chest covering the area where Sasuke's Chidori pierced. He looked towards the still unused chair by his side and then to the door. No one had come to see him even to know how he was feeling. The only person who had come was Tsunade, though that was twice, first to bandage him up and make him feel better, the second was to bring him his favorite food, ramen. After that she never came again, but he thought of it that she was been held by Hokage duties, then his thoughts shifted to the rookie, or rather the Konoha 11. He gets that Kiba, Neji, Choji, Shikamaru and Lee were hurt and would need to rest, but what of the others? What about his team? Kakashi and Sakura must be disappointed in me, he thought as he sat up, though flinched from feeling the small sharp jolts of pain in his chest. He opened the window and jumped to the nearest roof. He didn't feel like facing anyone right now as he started jumping from building to building. He got to his apartment and saw Sakura waiting for him in front of his door. "Hey Sakura-chan, I'm so sore." He never got to finish his words when he felt a sharp pain on his cheek. "How dare you, you promised that you would bring him back but you didn't. I should have known you can't keep a simple promise. Tsunade-sama should have just sent me in your place. I knew I was a more competent ninja than you, you baka. Just leave me alone, I don't want to see you in my life again." With that she ran crying. Naruto was still standing there with his head down when he heard a familiar voice. "I'm so disappointed in you, Naruto. Another reason why I chose to train Sasuke over you. Can't even complete the simplest of missions. I just came to tell you that you are no longer a part of Team 7. I'm so sorry Kakashi-sensei, I tried my best," but when he looked up Kakashi was no longer there. Naruto felt something within him snap as he entered his apartment. "They all left me, they betrayed me. Sad isn't it?" A voice said in the dark. Naruto was shocked but got of it and hit the light switch on. There on his couch he saw a plant-like humanoid with a line running down its face dividing it in two equal half, one half black and the other white. It also had yellow eyes and it was wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it. "Hi, I'm White Zetsu," said the white part. "And I'm Black Zetsu," said the black part. Naruto tried to put up a not confused face, though he failed miserably. "Hello. Who are you and what are you doing here? How did you get into my apartment? The door and windows were locked and from the look of things my window doesn't look broken." "We were sent to bring you to someone," the black part answered. "Someone who you would want to meet. What makes you think that I would leave?" Naruto replied. "Just like I said, isn't it sad to see all who you trusted betray you? They all left you. They used you and after they dumped you, what makes you think the villagers won't assemble together and try to kill you for not bringing back their precious Uchiha, or the pink-haired monkey won't look for ways to have revenge on you? Think about it." Black Zetsu replied. "Who are you taking me to?" Naruto asked. White Zetsu smiled and said, "Your grandfather, Uchiha Madara. Meeting the ancient Uchiha. Madara is my what?" Naruto shouted. "Your grandfather, and he requested for us to bring you to meet him. But why didn't he come to see me when I was young and needed him the most?" Naruto asked. Black Zetsu replied, 1. He didn't know you were alive, and 2. He wanted to meet you when you were already matured enough to know pain and understand pain. So are you still leaving this pathetic village?" Naruto put down his head as he started going through his memories. Flashback. "Hey Gigi, do you think I could enter the Ninja Academy when a new year starts?" A chibi Naruto asked an old-looking man with a smoking pipe in his mouth with a grin. The old man looked at Naruto with a smile on his face as he roughed his hair. "Yes, I think so. I will just fill in the necessary paperwork for you to enter." Naruto looked up to him with the same grin. "Thanks Gigi." Flashback end. Another flashback. "Naruto, you are the nine-tailed demon fox. No one will ever recognize or love you. Now die," a man shouted as he threw the Fuma Shrunken in his hands to Naruto, that was dressed in an orange jumpsuit with a large scroll in his hands. Naruto looked up to see the Shrunken spinning towards him, but he was too shocked to move. He was the nine-tailed demon fox, so that was the reason for all the glares, the hatred, and the reason why people never let him into their shop or let him play with their kids, he thought with rage in his head. He just closed his eyes to accept his fate, not like anyone was going to remember when he dies except for old man Gigi and the Ichirakus. But Gigi was old and would soon die, and the Ichirakus would forget about after a few months. He waited for the pain but felt nothing but something warm running down his face. He opened his eyes to see his other academy sensei Iruka Amino. Did I get his surname right? Overshadowing him with blood running down his mouth to his chest staining his Chunin jacket. Iruka sensei, why? Naruto asked. Because I was once like you, an orphan whose parents were killed in the battle against the Kyuubi. I try getting people's attention by playing pranks just like you. When I first met you I hated you until I saw me in you, he responded. Then with a grunt he pulled out the Fuma shrunken out of his back and said to Naruto, you are not the Kyuubi Naruto, you are only its container. Flashback end. Another flashback. 5-year-old Naruto was walking down the streets when he felt something hit his head. He looked down to see it was a rotten tomato and saw who threw it. It was a man who had an angry expression on his face. Demons aren't allowed to walk among humans, he sneered. Naruto noticed a crowd was quickly forming and started to run. He looked back to see the crowd had started to run after him. Different tools and weapons were thrown at him as he felt something sharp hit his left leg. He looked forward to see it was a kunai and thought, damn, I've got ninjas chasing me too, since he knew civilians couldn't throw or even handle a kunai. He took a sharp turn into an alleyway but found the other end blocked with a brick wall that was too large for him to climb over. He turned back but saw that the crowd had already cornered him like a cat over a mouse. Naruto closed his eyes as he started crying to receive his punishment. Flashback end. Naruto was broken out of his thoughts when he heard White Zetsu start to speak. He could tell you about your parents. It was there and then that Naruto made his answer, give me 30 minutes to pack up and wait for me at the eastern gates. Both Zetsus nodded before they started sinking back into the ground. Naruto started packing his essentials into a small bag. He just packed 3 days worth of clothing, a few cups of ramen and some kunai and shrunken. He didn't pack paper bombs because he was going to use it to make a distraction so he could leave without anyone stopping him. He started pasting the paper bombs on his wall. Meanwhile, Guy was finishing his afternoon 1000 laps around Konoha. 996, 997, 998, 999, 1000. Yash, my youthful flames is shining so bright that it might. Boom. Naruto apartment exploded. Guy, obvious to the sound, thought it was his youthful flames. Yash. I will run round Konoha 500 times on my hands. With that he skipped on his hands and started counting while running. 1, 2, 3. Anbu could be seen running to investigate the sound, hoping it wasn't another invasion. But all they found was an already burning building as they missed the pair of eyes watching from the top of a building. Naruto started to run to meet Zetsu at the gates. Hokage Tower. Tsunade was in a battle against the enemy of all cages. An enemy that not even the S-ranked leaders could beat it, paperwork. Shizune had taken all her sake and the ones she even kept in her secret stash. Just one more and I'm free, she thought as she stamped the last paper. Yes, shouted as she put the last stamped paper away. Now I can rest. Hokage-sama, an Anbu said as he came in and knelt before her. Not too long ago there was an explosion of a residence building. Tsunade's eyes narrowed as she asked whose residence building. Genin Uzumaki, Naruto's Hokage-sama, and apparently he's gone missing. What, take 2 squads of Anbu with you and search for him and get me Kakashi here. The Anbu operative nodded and shoo-shined away. Please Naruto, I hope Akatsuki hasn't gotten you, Tsunade thought with worry. Unknown location. Zetsu led Naruto to an unknown place deep in the mountains. It looked like an hideout with a big stone for a door that carved into it was the 3 comma marks in a matured Sharingan. Zetsu led Naruto towards a room that he saw an old man sitting on what looked like a throne with a grim reaper scythe by his side. Welcome Naruto, I have been expecting you, the man said with a smile. I have been waiting for you, the old man said with a smile. Are you Madara Jiji? Naruto asked. Yes, I am my grandson, Madara answered with a smile. Naruto then asked with a frown, then why weren't you there for me when I was little, when I needed a family the most? Madara then frowned and replied, I never knew you were alive. My wife, your grandmother and father's mother left me when your father was 3, so I never knew how he looked like as he grew. Naruto looked up at him and asked, why did Ba-chan leave you? Madara then sighed and replied, she never agreed with the way I looked at life. She always said that peace can be achieved through love, and no matter what, that pain will always exist no matter what I do to stop it. But wasn't she right? I mean, can't peace be achieved through love though pain will always exist? No, peace can never be achieved through love, and I am not talking about peace between villages. I'm also talking about peace within us humans, and with my plans no one will ever experience pain again. I will create a world where everyone's dream will come true. The shinobi nations will be united under one flag, and with my Moon Eye plans it will be possible. He was interrupted again by a Naruto who looked excited. Oh, can I be the one to draw our flag symbol? Can it be a bowl of steaming ramen with the Sharingan tomos on it, or 2 bowls of ramen with our names on it, or… For goodness sake Naruto, stop interrupting me, and no, you are not designing our symbol or putting ramen on it. You can't even draw the hidden village's symbols. Naruto, you got an F. Naruto pouted and folded his hands. Naruto then got serious and asked if I am an Uchiha. Then why do I have blonde hair? Because if I can remember ADM the academy we were taught all Uchiha had raven hair. Madara smiled and said, well, it's a trait from your Bachan. Well, could you tell me about my parents? Madara chuckled and said, I don't really know much about your mother and father. Though I'll tell you, your father was a hated man around the elemental nations, especially in Iwa and Kumo, because of he single-handedly killed most of their ninjas during the Third Shinobi War. You know him as the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato, or I'll just say Uchiha Minato, the man who sealed the Kyuubi in you. Naruto was torn within him. He was happy that he was the son of a powerful man and from a clan, and angry that it was his own father that sealed the Kyuubi in him. What about my mother? Your mother was not from Konoha. She was from Uzushio, though it was destroyed in the Second Shinobi War by a combination attack on it both by Iwa and Kumo. She was the only survivor due to the fact that she was in Konoha at that time. She and your father were in the academy together, though they became friends when he saved her from being kidnapped by Kumo Nen. I think that the basic information I know. The Sandaime Hokage should have told you. Well, he said he didn't know them, but why would he lie to me? That I do not know. Well, get ready for bed because your training starts tomorrow, and I promise you I won't go easy on you, Madara said with an evil smile that promised pain. Lots of it. But Naruto was oblivious to it as he started shouting and jumping on the balls of his feet. Oh boy. Oh boy. Zetsu will show you to your room, Madara said as a white Zetsu came out of the ground and stood behind him. Naruto wanted to ask him how he did it but kept that for later due to him being tired from the day's activities. He yawned and said good night, Gigi, waving at Madara while following white Zetsu. You are not gonna tell him, black Zetsu said. I thought you wanted to make him have your revenge on Konoha, and what better way than telling him? Madara turned to face him and said, not now, Zetsu. I want him to first concentrate on his training. Then at the end of the first year of his training I will tell him about Konoha and their despicable ways, which will make him hate them more. He may not show it, but I know he hates Konoha. I can see it in his eyes. Time skipped 3 days later. Konoha Council Hall. Tsunade had a lot of tick marks on her face which showed she was really angry. The civilian council had called for a meeting, yet for the past 30 minutes they have been doing nothing but arguing. All right, that enough, she shouted as she banged her hands on her table while producing killer intent that though not much was enough to make the civilians whimper and the shinobi council flinch. The hidden Anbuto were getting uncomfortable as it felt like their breaths were being drawn from them, but exhaled a sigh of relief when she stopped. Now can someone tell me why I was summoned here, she said with anger in her voice. Not wanting to make Tsunade angry due to stories of how legendary her strength and temper was, a woman that had pink hair stood up and said, Tsunade-sama, we are here to decide about the rank of the demon in the bingo book, and the civilian council have decided on S rank. Tsunade then released another wave of killer intent, though that one lasted for only a second. Haruno-san, how dare you decide on a matter that demands a general meeting with the civilians? Try that again and I will put you and your co-civilians in jail. Now it will be a council meeting. We'll start with the elders, then the shinobi council. Danzo S rank, Homura A rank, Kaharu S rank, Hiyashi S rank. He had always disliked Naruto. Inochi A rank had no reason to hate him. Shuza A rank, Shikaku Troublesome A rank, Shibi A rank, Sume A rank. Civilian council, 6, S rank. That leaves it at 8 S rank and 6 A rank. That puts Naruto as S rank in the bingo book, Danzo said. Tsunade's eyes became moist, though no one could see it. Naruto, please forgive me, she thought, as she stood up and walked away. OTO, unknown location. Orochimaru was overseeing Sasuke's training as he watched try to improve on the number of times he could use the Chidori. He could now use it 5 times before chakra exhaustion. Orochimaru-sama Naruto-kun left the leaf 3 days ago and now he is missing though Konoha thinks Akatsuki got him. Orochimaru swore and said to Kabuto, keep your eye on the lookout for the brat. If Akatsuki got him it means that all my plans are ruined. I hope time runs faster so as Sasuke-kun's body will be ready so as that soon as he kill Itachi and gets the Mangaku Sharingan I will take over his body and achieve my dream of immortality. Yes Orochimaru-sama. Madara's hideout. 696, 697, 698, 699, pants 700. Naruto collapsed on the floor twitching. Madara who was sitting on him meditating opened an eye. Why did you stop? You were supposed to do 1000 push-ups. Damn Naruto swore this was supposed to be training not torture. For an old gramps you sure are heavy Naruto told him. Madara stood up and said for such childish exercise and you complain what will you do when the real deal starts? Naruto cried anime tears childish exercises. He woke me up at 3 in the morning. What kind of human wakes up at 3? Had me do 100 laps around the hideout which is about 30,000 meters according to Zetsu, 1,000 sit-ups and 2,500 squats and now I have to complete this 1,000 push-ups and still have 2,000 pull-ups to do and is now forbidden me from eating ramen now forcing me to eat vegetables. Seriously in my own opinion any food that is green is unhealthy and sick. Is he training me for some kind of muscle weight competition or what? If you finish this exercise I'll buy you as many ramen as you want. Madara told him. Naruto eyes lit up as Madara said the magic words. All right Gigi let's do this Naruto shouted with renewed fire. 701, 702, 703, 704, 705. Zetsu came up behind Madara and whispered, you are not getting him the ramen are you? No I hate ramen Madara whispered back. Training 2 and meeting the Kyuubi. 6 months later. Alright Naruto let's try this again. Hi, Naruto replied, Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu. He shouted then puffed out a giant fireball the size of a small house. So how did I do sensei? Naruto asked Madara who looked pleased. Very good Naruto, I'm impressed, he replied. So far Naruto had learnt 2 fire jutsus so far which were Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu, and Kaden, Hosenka no Jutsu, Fire Style. Mythical Fire Phoenix Technique, 1 Wind Jutsu which was Futon. Daitappa, Wind Style. Great Breakthrough. And 1 Earth Jutsu. Doden. Doryuden, Earth Style. Earth Dragon Projectile. Naruto had started learning Elemental Ninjutsu 5 months ago after Madara decided to check his elemental affinity. It was a shocker to Madara when he saw that Naruto had 3 natures, fire, wind and earth and they were all primary. He then deduced that fire was from the Kyuubi, wind from his father and earth from his mother. Since then he had started training him in his elements though they were offensive. So Gigi are you going to teach me another awesome jutsu? Naruto asked. No for now we will focus on your taijutsu training. Madara replied. Taijutsu training? Amen but you hit hard. Like really hard sensei, Naruto said remembering their first training session. Flashback. Alright Naruto, give me your best shot. Madara said to Naruto who was standing in front of him in a blue training gi. Hi Madara sensei here I come, Naruto shouted as he ran towards Madara and pulled back his right fist to punch him. As he got to Madara, Madara too pulled back a fist and punched him in the head. Naruto jumped back and shouted. Damn you hit hard for an old man. Damn though it's not as strong as Tsunade Ba-chan's punch, if not for my high endurance I would have been knocked out. He thought as he looked as Madara again. Alright here I come again. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. As 10 copies of Naruto appeared and they all ran towards Madara. Alright boys you know what to do. One Naruto said to the others as they all attacked together. Uzumaki, the Narutos said as they delivered their clone combo. Naruto Renden another Naruto jumped up and gave Madara a kick to the chest sending him down towards the awaiting ground. The smoke from the fall cleared to show a Naruto clone that poofed away after it looked like it went through a grinder. What? Naruto shouted after he saw Madara was still standing in the same spot. How did you do that? Madara said nothing as he moved to attack. He delivered a hook punch to Naruto Fax sending him to the wall. didn't give Naruto the chance to recover and punched him in the stomach twice and jumped back to observe Naruto's reaction. OWWW. Naruto groaned as he came out of the debris and held his head. You hit too hard, sensei, but I just said started. That night Naruto went to bed in pain and 3 cracked ribs, though he was okay in the morning, and the good side was that he unlocked his Sharingan. Flashback end. I almost died, Naruto thought while crying anime tears. Madara sweat dropped and decided to make it interesting for Naruto. Okay, let's make it an all-out spar. Ninjutsu can be used. Yes, Naruto shouted as he pumped his hand in the air. Let's do this, Naruto said with a grin as he got into a stance. Madara was the one who created it, though he didn't name it. Naruto had begged Madara to let him be the one who named it and was still looking for a good name for it. As the wind blew past, which signified for them to start, Naruto ran towards Madara at mid-Junin speed and started with a kick. Madara and Naruto were exchanging fists until Naruto saw it was getting nowhere and jumped back to get some space. He looked at Madara with his Sharingan activated as he flashed through some hand seals. Kaden. Hosenka no Jutsu shouted as he puffed out small fireballs towards Madara. Madara too flashed through some hand seals. Sweden. Mizurappa, he shouted as he shot a stream of water towards the fireballs. The fireballs and water met halfway and hit each other, creating a small mist that covered both Madara and Naruto. Naruto tried to use his advanced hearing to try and hear Madara's footsteps. But he heard nothing. He then felt pain in his back as he flew out of the mist and crashed into a wall. Damn, his fast and this mist isn't doing me any good, Naruto thought as he flashed through some hand seals. Futon. Daitoppa, he shouted as he blew out a big gust of wind that took away the mist, which revealed nothing. Madara wasn't there. You are too slow, a voice said behind him. Naruto turned around to punch him but hit nothing but air. As I said, you are too slow, Madara said as he was standing a few feet from him with his hands folded. I'll show you who's slow, you old geezer, Naruto shouted as he whipped out a kunai. Being called slow was one thing, but being called slow by an old man like Madara who was about more than 100 years was another thing that gave Naruto's pride a huge hit. He flashed through some hand seals and shouted Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu as a flashing giant fireball ran towards Madara. Madara flashed through his own seals at moderate speed and shouted Sweden. Mizude Pippu no Jutsu, water style. Water style. Water pistol jutsu, as he shot out balls of water at the fireball, which created another small mist. Out of the mist a kunai came out with visible chakra coated on it. Madara caught it by its handle and looked at it. Nice, channeling wind chakra into your kunai to make it sharper. Impressive but not enough, Madara said as he threw the kunai back at Naruto and flashed through 3 hand seals. Kage kunai bunshin no jutsu, as the kunai multiplied into 50. Naruto was already prepared and ran through some seals. Futondaitoppa, as a gush of wind blew the kunai back at Madara. He dodged everything while staying on the same spot. Naruto rushed back at Madara and engaged him in taijutsu. He delivered a leg sweep, and while Madara jumped over it, he tried to hit him with an uppercut while he was in the air, but missed. Madara, taking advantage, immediately hit Naruto in the chest with a direct punch. Naruto quickly whipped out a kunai and threw it at Madara. Madara caught it and said to him, "That was too predictable." "That was what I was hoping for," Naruto said to him. Madara looked at the kunai and saw that it had a paper bomb on it that was about to go off. Naruto watched as he saw the bomb exploded and was waiting for its results, meanwhile forming strategies in his head as he knew that wouldn't take Madara down. The smoke cleared to show Madara wasn't there but a few feet away from the explosion site. "That's enough," Madara said to Naruto. "Why couldn't handle my awesomeness? No, I've just did that spar to grade your skills. If it was a real battle, though I am old and lost some of my strength, you would have been begging for your life." As if, Naruto replied. "Anyway, in ninjutsu I will say you are low jonin, taijutsu. High chunin, speed. Low jonin, reflex. I'll say mid jonin, analytical sense, mid jonin. I'll have to start you on genjutsu and kenjutsu training and maybe on fuinjutsu, but in all I'll say you are mid junin and should be able to match a normal junin in a one-on-one battle." "Awesome," was all Naruto was able to say. 5 months later, Naruto was meditating in his room. Matter had said he had come far and should be able to take on 3 Anbu squads and Junins on his own. Madara had also wanted him to meet the Kyuubi. Suddenly Naruto found himself in a sewer. Naruto thought. What am I doing in a sewer? How did Madara Gigi throw me into a sewer without me knowing? I swear when I get back I will prank him with that pipe he normally smokes. But I better find my way out, Naruto said as he followed a red light that was emitting from the depth of the sewer. Naruto followed it until he led him to a big cage that was as big as the Hokage monument, and its gates were being held by a single paper. Wow! Giant metal gates held by a piece of paper glued to it. Must be a very strong glue. I wonder what type, Naruto thought. So my jailer comes to visit me, a loud voice said from within the cage. The sound of a battle could be heard as Naruto and Madara were seen battling. To the eyes of a civilian all they would be seeing would be blur, but the eyes of a seasoned shinobi would know it was a very intense match between 2 very strong ninjas. Naruto had so far become very strong, though he was nowhere near Madara full strength, but Madara had told him that he was strong enough to be ranked highest rank in the books. Naruto had also gained an ally in Th Kyuubi as he could still remember their first meeting. Flashback. So my jailer comes to visit me. A voice said from within the cage. You are you and where am I? Naruto said, clearing confused, though he had a sneaking suspicion of where he was and who was speaking. The voice chuckled and a pair of large red eyes with slits started glowing in the dark within the cage. The eyes appeared to be coming closer as Naruto saw giant sharpened white teeth that were as big as he was. Suddenly the figure stopped moving as 9 swashing tails could be seen behind it. You are the Kyuubi, Naruto said, clearing without any evidence of fear in his eyes. After all, Madara taught him that a shinobi shouldn't show fear even at the point of death. Let me guess, this is my mindscape, Naruto said to the Kyuubi. I see you are pretty smart for your age, unlike your mother who couldn't figure that out. The Kyuubi said with a grin. My mother was once your container? Naruto asked the Kyuubi, not knowing that piece of information, but didn't go into thinking about it since Madara said he didn't know much about his mother. Yes, it has been 52 years since I gained my freedom and 3 times sealed in an Uzumaki 3 times in a row, which is kinda getting irritating for someone of my caliber. Controlled 2 times by those vile eyes of the Uchiha, which is why you couldn't activate it earlier on despite all the death situations you've gotten into. After all, I tried repressing your Uchiha DNA, but it proved to be the dominant one in your blood. The Kyuubi said with disappointment. Naruto became confused again as he asked, what do you mean by sealed in an Uzumaki 3 times in a row and being controlled 2 times by the Sharingan? Naruto asked. Uzumaki Mito was my first container. After I was summoned by Uchiha Madara in his battle against Hashirama Senju. Did I spell that right? The one you know as first Hokage. I was restrained by his Kekkei Genkei the Mokuton. His wife Uzumaki Mito, who happened to be on the battlefield, used that opportunity to seal me in herself, thus becoming my first summoning and first time been controlled by that vile eyes. The Kyuubi answered. Wow, Gigi can summon you? Naruto asked in awe. He could, but I doubt he could now that I'm sealed in you. The second time was when your mother was taken to Konoha to become my second container. That time Mito was very old, and since if she died of old age I could be free, but if she died in battle I would die too, only to reform in a few years, 5 or 6 tops, since I am mainly made up of chakra. I was transferred to your mother when she was 8. Wait a minute, Naruto interrupted. I thought you could only be sealed in a baby whose umbilical cord had just been cut off. At least that was what Hokage Gigi told me, added in afterthought. That is also true, but Mito Uzumaki, like every other Uzumaki except you, was a seal master. She created a seal that allowed me to the transferred without any complications, though she died a few days after because of the stress she went through when my chakra was leaving her. That was pretty awesome, but couldn't my dad use the same seal Mito Obaa-chan used when she first sealed you in her? I mean, it didn't take her life, and if my dad did that my parents would clearly have been alive. That's also true, but due to the situation the only solution that came quickly to your father's mind was the death god seal, which brings me to my second time have been controlled. It was the night of your birth and your parents decided to give birth to you in a secret and secure place because during birth the seal becomes weak, and since no one knew your mother was a Jinchuriki, couldn't be given birth to in the hospital, so do not let anyone know that piece of information. After the delivery, a man who called himself Uchiha Madara attacked and extracted me from your mother. He was wearing an orange spiral-shaped mask with one eye hole where his Sharingan was activated. He controlled me and ordered me to attack Konoha, which I did, though it was against my wish. After all I wanted to do was to sleep. After all, been imprisoned for years is bound to have an effect on you. As soon as he said that, Naruto had a large sweat drop at the back of his head. Who would have thought the proclaimed powerful, walking destruction machine demon that almost destroyed Konoha was lazy? But I was sealed into you by your father, though not the full me. What do you mean not the full you? Naruto asked. If I was sealed with all my chakra within you, you wouldn't last for a day before you die and I get free, so your father sealed the yin of my chakra in him and yang in you. This man that called himself Uchiha Madara, do you think he was really Madara? Naruto asked, wanting to know if his grandfather was the cause of the death of his parents. Even though I don't like Madara, I don't think the man 14 years ago was the true Madara. The self-proclaimed Madara got hit by the Fouts attack, which I know the true Madara wouldn't allow. 2. The true Madara wouldn't hide behind a mask. Madara is too proud to do that. Naruto was relieved to know that Madara wasn't the cause of his parents' death. Flashback end. Naruto had asked Madara about if he knew that someone was walking through the elemental nations bearing his name. Madara told him he knew and told him all about Obito and how Obito thought because he was powerful he turned against Madara plans and started making his own plans. The present. Madara and Naruto continued trading blows against each other, Sharingans activated. Naruto might have caught up with Madara in speed, but the old man still had the experience. It had been 2.5 years since Naruto met Madara and he had come far. Madara had ranked him high Junin in Taijutsu without the Sharingan. With the Sharingan he was high Anbu captain. In ninjutsu he was mid-kage with his arsenal comprising of mostly fire, wind and earth jutsu. In genjutsu he could only cast it with his Sharingan, so that left him high Chunin in it if he didn't use the Mangaku. In Fuinjutsu he was a level 7 seal master. He had also taken an interest in Kenjutsu and had forged his own sword. He could channel elemental chakra through it and had named it Predator. Naruto had sworn that that blade would only be used when facing strong opponents or in an emergency. In Kenjutsu he was ranked mid-Junin. All in all he was low kage in strength. Naruto had achieved all 3 tomos in both Sharingan and had trained with it. The Kyuubi had used its chakra to unlock Naruto's Mangekyou Sharingan. Its shape was 2 Grim Reaper's scythe and AX crossed 2 had so far improved on the Rasengan and could now do it one-handedly. He also created other types of Rasengan by infusing elemental chakra into them. They were Kaden, Rasengan, Futon, Rasengan, Raiden, Rasengan, Futon, Rasenshuriken, Rasengan Bomb. One of his favorite was the Rasengan Bomb, which was creating a normal Rasengan, infusing it with large amounts of wind chakra and try to shrink it. If large amounts of power that was shrinked was contained in such small space, there was bound to be an explosion, and a big one, and the best part of it was that since it was connected to Naruto's chakra he could detonate it anytime he wants. Doden. Gon Chuso no Jutsu, Earth Style. Rock Pillar Spears. Naruto said as rock spears came out of the ground trying to pierce Madara. Madara expertly dodged the spears and tried to put Naruto in another genjutsu with his Sharingan, but Naruto dispelled it since he had been trained to detect a genjutsu done by the Sharingan by Madara. Kaden. Goryuka no Jutsu, Great Dragon Fire Technique, Madara said as he exhaled out a big dragon made of fire towards Naruto. Naruto then made a clone and they both flashed through hand seals. Sweden. Mizurappa, Water Style, Water Trumpet, Raiden. Kangekia, Lightning Style. Inspirational Wave. They both shouted as the real Naruto spew out a wave of water and the clone combined the lightning with it as it flew towards Madara. Madara ran through hand seals at unhuman speed and shouted Doden. Doryu Heki, Earth Style. Earth Wall. As a wall of earth rose and blocked the attack that the wall to got destroyed when they collided. Naruto whipped out a kunai and threw it at Madara and flashed through hand seals kunai kage bunshin no jutsu as the kunai multiplied into 30 kunai. Madara quickly caught the first kunai that got to him and used it to block the others and dodged the remaining, his eyes never leaving Naruto. He soon felt a presence behind him as he turned to barely block a kick to the face from another Naruto. He jumped back and saw the Naruto he was watching before turn into smoke. Nice, he distracted me with the kunais and switched himself with a clone to launch a sneak attack on me. Naruto got into a stance which he finally named Tiger Claw. Remember, Madara made it. It was centered on speed, agility and counter. Naruto ran towards Madara and engaged him in taijutsu. They kept on throwing their fists at each other as Naruto attempted to give Madara a leg sweep, but Madara jumped over it and launched a right hook at him, but Naruto blocked it. He then looked at Madara in the eye and cast a genjutsu on him. Madara cancelled it and kicked at Naruto again. Naruto jumped back and flashed through Hanseal's Kaden. Haisekishou no jutsu. Fire style. Burning ash accumulation, he said as he exhaled a cloud of ash at Madara. When it got close, he gashed his teeth against each other and the ash sparked into a big bonfire. Madara was quick to counter with a water pistol jutsu which created a huge mist. Madara then felt a blade at his neck and saw Naruto looking at him with a smirk. "Yield?" Naruto asked him. Madara sighed and replied, "Yield." Naruto kept his smirk and looked at Madara. "If I was still in my prime, you wouldn't have beaten me," Madara said to Naruto. Naruto got a tick mark on his head as he shouted back in anger, "What was that supposed to mean, you old geezer?" Madara sighed as he went back to sit on his throne chair as Naruto dubbed it. "Damn, I've been sighing a lot these days," Madara thought. He suddenly started coughing while holding his chest as if he was in pain. Naruto was at his side at once, trying to know what was happening to his grandfather. "I fear my health is already failing due to how old I am," Madara said to Naruto. "You are very old, yet you still move faster than Hokage Gigi did," Naruto said back. Madara smiled and continued coughing. "Naruto, I fear my time has come for me to die, cough, but I want you to remember the plans for peace and all I have taught you. I, cough, don't want you to cry when I die, and Zetsu already knows to transfer my eyes to you so that you can gain the eternal Mangekyou and won't be stopped by that despicable blindness." By then Naruto's eyes already showed signs of tears threatening to spill. With that, Madara died. Naruto bowed his head and offered a quick prayer for Madara, after which he stood up, refusing to cry. Madara told him not to and he will obey his wish. He then looked at Black Zetsu, who was watching them. "After I bury him, you'll transfer his eyes and we begin his plans." Konohagakure. 6 months later. Sakura was walking down Konoha streets to the Hokage Tower where Tsunade had requested for her. She, Ino and Hinata had become medic nins under the tutelage of Tsunade, who started training them a few weeks after Naruto's disappearance. The entire Konoha 11 minus Naruto, Sasuke and Neji had become Chunins and Neji was a Junin. She was devastated when she went to Naruto's apartment to apologize to him, only to hear he was gone. In 5 days 2 of her teammates were gone. Sak left for power, while Naruto, no one really knew why he had left. Some said he sent the Uchiha away and betrayed Konoha and left, while others said he was kidnapped by Akatsuki. Kakashi had gone back to Anbu duties in remorse after he discovered Naruto was his sensei's son. She could still remember when Tsunade called together the Konoha 11 and told the truth. Why Naruto was hated, his parentage and the Akatsuki. Hinata was also devastated when she heard Naruto left or was kidnapped. Jiraiya had spent the last few years searching the elemental nation for him. She snapped out of her thoughts when she saw she was at the door of the Hokage's office. She knocked twice and opened to see the rest of the now dubbed Rookie 7 and their senseis. She was surprised Kakashi was also there. She stood close to her comrades and nodded to them as a sign of greeting. Now Tsunade started speaking. "I called you all here because of an emergency. 2 days ago word arrived that Suna was attacked by the Akatsuki and their case cage was kidnapped. As you all know, Gaara contains the one-tailed Shukaku and I fear Akatsuki is already on the move. So you will all prepare and leave in the next 2 hours." "Hi, Hokage-sama," they all chorused and left. Naruto, please be alright, she thought as she looked at a picture on her table that was taken when Jiraiya and Naruto were returning to Konoha with her. Few hours later, the rookie team got to Suna, where on their way they encountered Temari. There they found out that Kankuro had fought Sasori of the Red Sands and was poisoned. Sakura managed to extract it and create an antidote for it, after which they got a lead on the Akatsuki's hideout and left with an old lady that said she was Sasori's grandmother. They won't encounter Itachi and Kisame. Now they were in front of a boulder that had 5 seals on it. They ripped it off and Sakura smashed the boulder, gaining entrance. There they saw a non-moving Gaara and 3 Akatsuki members, 2 of which they identified as Deidara and Sasori. The third member face was still covered with his hat. Gasp, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked with her Byakugan activated. Naruto, that's Naruto? It can't be. Naruto has been gone for almost 3 years and there's no way he would join the Akatsuki when they want to kill him, were the thoughts floating in the Konoha shinobi's head. Despite the tense situation, the figure remained still as he stood in between the grinning Deidara, who had been looking for subjects to test his new arts on, and a still-moving Sasori who had a still face, but looking deep into it you could see bloodlust. Naruto-kun, is that you? Hinata asked with hope in her voice as she tried to take a step forward but was held back by Kiba, who looked at her with a frown that had disappointment in it. I can't believe you, Hinata. How will Naruto of all people join the Akatsuki when he knows they are looking for him, since he is a Jinchuriki and they are the Akatsuki, a bunch of S-rank criminals who knows the kind of genjutsu they know that it can deceive the Byakugan, and they might have hanged into Naruto to throw us of our game. The Konoha shinobi accepted Kiba's explanation as the truth and got ready for battle as they dropped into their fighting stances. The 3 Akatsuki members looked at each other silently, communicating before running towards them, with Deidara taking Choji, Kakashi and Kiba. Sasori taking Sakura, Ino, his grandmother who said her name was Chio, and trained Sasori in puppetry and Shino, while Naruto took Hinata, Kuriani, Shikamaru and Asuma. Deidara formed a bird out of his clay and flew away with the 3 shinobis not far behind. Naruto took his opponent to the open while Sasori battled inside the hideout. Deidara fight. Deidara kept on throwing down white clay balls as he continued flying. Kiba, who tried to perform a fang over fang, narrowly escaped as he was hit by the balls that had started exploding after he started his jutsu. Kakashi, who was jumping in the trees, whipped out 3 kunais with exploding tags wrapped around the and threw it to counter as they exploded in the air. Deidara looked down with a grin and said out loud, "No matter how much you try, you are no match for AR." Deidara stopped as he felt something heavy landing on his bird. Deidara looked and saw it was Choji. So that was his plan, Deidara thought. To block my view so I won't know when they attack. But no worries, it was a mistake on their side, as he formed another bird and jumped on it while putting his hands in a hand seal. Katsu, he shouted as the bird Choji was on exploded. Deidara stopped to look at his creation with a grin, but was surprised when he saw a huge ball spinning down to pound him to dust. So you didn't die?" Deidara asked as he dodged Choji and Kiba's attempt to bring him down, not seeing Kakashi with his Sharingan eye open. Kakashi jumped onto the bird and tried to kick Deidara down but was blocked with his left arm. Deidara looked at Kakashi with a smile and told him, "So you want us to do this like men? You and me, let's guff." Deidara was silenced with an axe kick to the chest from Kakashi. Kakashi watched with a smile as Deidara fell, going right into the forest where he had planned with Kiba and Choji to finish him off. But that smile washed away when he saw the Deidara falling melt into clay. A clay clone, Kakashi thought in shock as he saw another Deidara on a dragon heading towards him at breakneck speed. Kakashi narrowly escaped due to his Sharingan. Kakashi flipped through hand seals Kaden. Housenka no Jutsu, fire style. Mythical fire phoenix technique, as he shot out small balls of fire towards the dragon. The dragon dodged the balls but got hit by one when it came close to Kakashi and exploded, Kakashi falling off the bird he was standing on and Deidara landing on it. Did you think you could beat my art? Think again," Deidara said as he flew towards Kakashi and threw objects that looked like mosquitoes to Kakashi that exploded while still in the air. Kakashi landed on a large tree branch and was joined by Kiba and Choji. "Damn his explosions," Kakashi cursed as they retreated, trying to escape the explosive balls that were falling from the sky. "I might have to use it," Kakashi thought as they narrowly avoided another set of explosions. Kiba, attack from the left. Choji, attack from the right. Let's take this crazy bomb artist down. The 2 Chunins nodded and jumped away. Choji did a super multi-size technique and bounced towards Deidara while Kiba and Akamaru were spinning towards him with a double-headed wolf. Kakashi jumped up to face Deidara as his Sharingan started spinning to stop to show a wind wheel in place of the 3 tomos in it. "Kamui," Kakashi said as he looked at Deidara. Deidara jumped away but was not fast enough as his left arm appeared to be in a vortex and disappeared. Deidara was shocked as he looked at Kakashi, who looked tired. "What the hell did you do to me?" Deidara shouted at Kakashi as he didn't see Kiba coming and was hit by his jutsu. As Deidara flew back and tried to twist to land, he met Choji's fist and flew to the other direction. Deidara of the Akatsuki, if you quietly surrender to will be taken to Konoha as a prisoner gently, resist and be exterminated. Never, I will never surrender, you will never take me alive, he said as he put his single arm in the tiger seal and ripped open his Akatsuki cloak to reveal a mouth on his chest. What with this guy and mouths? Kiba shouted. Behold, my greatest art, Deidara shouted as he fed the mouth a large amount of clay. Then dark veins started appearing on his body as he started laughing manically as the veins retreated into a sphere on his chest. By then Kakashi had already started retreating with Kiba and Choji as Choji, still in his large size, collected Kakashi and Kiba in his hands and bounced, still looking at them, grinned. See ya assholes, meet my ultimate jutsu katsu. As his body exploded, causing a large explosion that the Konoha shinobi barely escaped. Whew, that was close, the shinobis thought as they continued running to go help the others. If they had looked back to the explosion site, they would have seen a giant white bird leaving the area. Sasori fight. Hello grandmother, Sasori said as he looked at Chiyo. Hello grandson, Chiyo said as the shinobis beside her prepared for battle. Wait, Chiyo told them as they stopped. Let me first fight him, after all I was the one who taught him puppetry. Let's see if he has improved. Sasori then looked towards her and said, You're making a huge mistake here, Granny, he said as he unsealed his puppets. I hope you're ready because I used this technique to destroy a village. Chiyo then unsealed her puppets too. Let's battle, she said as she controlled her puppets to attack Sasori. Sasori then swung into battle. Dance of 100 puppets. As their puppets clashed, Sasori puppets succeeded in demolishing Chiyo's puppets as she unsealed more, hinting the Konoha shinobis to join her. Sakura came crashing down with a punch as she tore through the puppets. Shino used his Kikachu to eat up the chakra strings used to control the puppets, and Ino channeled chakra through her hands as she, like Sakura, tore through the puppets. Soon after, all that remained were just broken wood and metal. The Suna and Konoha ninjas looked at the puppet criminal Nin as he stood there in the midst of the broken puppets' parts. HN already out of puppets? Ino asked. Sasori didn't say anything as he unsealed a puppet that looked familiar. Ha, just one puppet, don't worry guys, I've got this, but got pale by what she heard after. Remember him, Grandma? Chiyo gasped as she took a step backwards. That the Sandame cage. So you are the one who killed him and turned him into your puppet? Sandame cage? Ino said in shock as she looked as the puppet. Yes, Sasori answered her. Now get ready to be crushed by the magnetic sands of the cage, he said as he commanded the puppet to attack. The shinobis jumped away as a tsunami of sand came down on them. Sakura charged back at the cage, getting ready to punch it out, but had to jump back when she was almost caught by some sand that came out of the ground. She threw some kunai at the cage, but it was stopped. Chiyo unsealed another set of puppets, but they were demolished by Sasori's own mind jump technique, Ino shouted as her body became limp, but after a few seconds, it jerked backwards as if something hit it. Why can't I enter his mind? Ino screamed. For goodness sake, Ino, it is a puppet, it has no mind of its own, Sakura screamed back. Shino unleashed his bugs, sending them to attack Sasori, but some of them were crushed by the Sandame's sand. Sakura came down with an overhead punch as she broke through, hitting the puppet on its head and smashing it into pieces. Sasori looked back with the same straight look. You might have destroyed my puppets, but there is still one final one, he said as his right arm turned into a cannon and fired out 3 black balls that exploded when it hit a surface. The 4 shinobis took cover behind rocks as the cannon started shooting kunai too. Sakura turned to the others. I am going in, cover me. As she jumped away from her position, Shino sent his bugs to block Sasori's view as Ino channeled chakra through her hands and punched the ground, creating a dust cover. Sakura jumped up as Chiyo unsealed her last batch of puppets that she sent in as a distraction, but Sasori saw through their attacks. He destroyed Chiyo's puppets and used a flamethrower to stop Sakura. Sakura retreated back to where the others were as Sasori pointed the flamethrowers towards her position. Sasori tried to shoot out flames but saw his throwers weren't functioning, looked at it and saw Shino bugs going into its holes that were meant for air passage. Sakura saw this and took advantage of the situation. Let's finish this. As they ran towards Sasori, Ino hit the ground and picked up a giant stone and hurled it towards Sasori. Shino ran along with the rock to distract Sasori. As Sasori was distracted by the rock and Shino while trying to remove Shino bugs, Sakura came out of the ground with a fist high as she gave Sasori a uppercut, shattering his puppet body. As the four shinobi regrouped, they looked towards Sasori's direction, and what they saw wasn't what they expected: an 18-year-old redhead lying on the floor bleeding. They was surprised. "You said Sasori left Suna when he was 17. Shino said to Chiyo when he saw him, and it has been 13 years since then. How come he still looks like he's 18 when he should be 30? Chiyo looked back at him and replied, "He was always fascinated by the workings of a puppet and always wanted to see what more they could do. He must have gotten a way to turn himself to a puppet," she said. None of them saw Sasori standing up as he rushed at them, aiming at Chiyo. Sakura threw a side glance, caught him running at them and tried to retaliate but wasn't fast enough, but due to her training with Tsunade she managed to strike a blow to his heart area. Sasori fell back as he coughed out blood. "HN, looks like this is my end. You gave me a deadly hit to the heart. You were too late. The boy is dead," and with that Sasori died. The four shinobi left Sasori as they ran towards Gaara's location. They left too quick, or else they would have witnessed Sasori's body turn blackish-brown in skin complexion. The strangers fight. The unknown ninja stood in front of the four Konoha nins as they glared at him. He tilted his hat up a little bit to reveal a stick at the left corner of his mouth. He spat it out to reveal it was an already finished dango stick. "Who are you?" Asuma asked. My, already tense? "You can call me Daisuke," he replied. Daisuke then took a step forward, which got the four nins to be on alert. He then put his right hand behind him as if he was going for his kunai pouch. Hinata, who had already activated her Byakugan, couldn't see what he was going for. A transparency barrier seal, mainly created for the Byakugan. "You can't see through me or within me except for my face. I have them written in my clothes," Daisuke explained as he saw her confusion. The ninjas then saw him bringing his arm back forward as they were ready to repel or dodge whatever he was going to bring out. They would have attacked him when his arm was in his pouch, but he was an Akatsuki member. Being a member of that organization meant S-rank business. He then brought up his hand to reveal a can of Coca-Cola. Four ninjas' jaws dropped in surprise. "Ah," Daisuke exhaled. "Nothing is more better but a nice can of cola to wash down after a meal," he said as he started sipping the cola. "Hey, take us serious," Kuriani shouted at him. "Oh, you are still here," he replied. The four Konoha shinobis all had a huge sweat drop. "He forgot we were even here," they thought. "Well, since you won't leave, I just have to drive you all away," Daisuke told them with a frown. "Finally he's going to battle," Asuma thought. "Shoo, shoo, shoo," Daisuke screamed at them. For a second time, the shinobi's jaw dropped, which Daisuke could swear made a small crater. The shinobis had different thoughts. "What with this guy Kuriani? There is something about this guy that unnerves me, Shikamaru. He also thinks we are weak, just like father thought of me, Hinata. I'm gonna murder him." Asuma. Daisuke of the Akatsuki. "By the order of the Godem Hokage, you can either surrender peacefully and be taken to the Hidden Leaves to be tried for your crimes, or be killed," Shikamaru said. "Well, if you wanted a battle you could have said so," Daisuke replied. "No, that isn't what I'm trying to say. Shikamaru was caught off as the missing nin put his left arm in a half-tiger seal kaiden. "Gukaku no jutsu," he said as he blew out a giant fireball the size of a cabin. "Shit, he must have one load of chakra to be able to create a fireball like that big," Asuma thought as he and the others scattered to dodge the fireball that almost crashed into them and knocked down 3 trees before going out. He, hat was close. "Phew," Daisuke said as he brought his can of cola to his lips. "Go," Asuma said as they all rushed at the Akatsuki nin, attacking him at the same time. Daisuke dodged all their attacks as he moved gracefully while taking sips from his drink. Daisuke then saw Asuma coming at him running through hand seals, and knowing Asuma it would probably be a wind jutsu. As he tried to move he found that he couldn't move his legs. Cage main no jutsu, shadow imitation technique, success. From the corner of his eyes Daisuke saw that it was the lazy-looking boy from before who he suspected was a Nara, but now his technique confirmed his suspicions. Futon. Rep Pusho, Daisuke heard as he was almost hit by the technique from Asuma. Daisuke had used a lot of chakra to break himself free and dodge Asuma's attack, but his drink was not fortunate. Daisuke watched as his can of cola was torn apart by the speeding air. No cola, why? Why? Daisuke cried as he knelt down by the now destroyed cola can. I didn't get to finish you. Daisuke stood up as he looked at the Konoha nins with anger in his eyes, especially at Asuma. You have committed something worse than murder. I will never forgive you. With those words he attacked. He ran at Kuriani first and engaged her in taijutsu. He did a leg sweep but Kuriani jumped over it, then he flipped over her as he got behind her and started attacking her with series of punches and kicks that Kuriani could barely follow. Asuma and Hinata came up behind him to attack. Hinata charged in with a 32 palm attack as Asuma jumped overhead for a frontal attack. By the time Hinata stopped, she saw Kuriani only groaning in pain. Then she realized that Daisuke had substituted with Kuriani to take his hits. She looked back to his Daisuke, who waved at her. Asuma then ran at him. This is for my girlfriend, he said as he tried to use his trench knives to slash Daisuke across the chest. Daisuke dodged as he turned back to kick Asuma in the chest and, this is for my cola, he said as Asuma skipped away like a stone. Hinata and Shikamaru attacked at the same time. Kage Kyubi Shibari no Jutsu, shadow neck bind technique, Shikamaru said as a shadow rose out of the ground and grabbed Daisuke's neck. Hinata now, Shikamaru said as Hinata charged in and delivered another 32 palms. Shikamaru released Daisuke as they were planning to take him in alive. Daisuke grunted in pain and turned into smoke, revealing to be a clone. He was a clone, Shikamaru and Hinata thought in shock. Kaden. Ryuka no Jutsu, Daisuke said as he dropped out of the trees and breathed out a large dragon made of fire at the nins. Hinata got in front of Shikamaru. Kaden, she said as she started spinning, blocking the flames. Daisuke used the opportunity and delivered 2 blows to the stomachs of both nins. Both Shikamaru and Hinata fell to the ground. As Daisuke wall-liked towards them, he was then surrounded by the remaining Konoha nins who had finished their fights with an alive Gaara and a dead Chiyo. Stay back, Kakashi called as he put his hands down to form his infamous Rankuri technique. You are coming with us. Daisuke watched as Asuma and the others stood back up and took their stances. I'm gonna have to leave. With that he whipped out another can of coke from nowhere and body flickered away. He got away, Kuriani said as they relaxed. Shit, Asuma swore. What Asuma? Kakashi asked as everyone looked at Asuma. Asuma looked at the spot Daisuke was standing. That son of a bitch had another can. With that everyone's sweat dropped, including Shino. The Konoha shinobis had safely gotten back to Konoha after they had rescued Gaara, who was brought back to life by Chiyo, who did a kinjutsu that brought him back to life, exchanging her life for his. The 3 teams were now standing before Tsunade giving their report. So you managed to kill 2 Akatsuki members and 1 escaped. Tsunade escaped. Yes, Hokage-sama, replied Kakashi, who was the leader of the group. So what is the name of this said criminal and what do you know about him? Tsunade asked. He said his name was Daisuke, though we don't know where he's from, Kuriani replied. Tsunade brought out a book and stated, flipping through it. Can you describe him? Tsunade asked. He has blonde hair with blue eyes, has a thing for drinking cola and might be a fire elemental user. That's all we know. Hinata said. Tsunade continued flipping through the pages of the book, which confused the ninjas. Hokage-sama, I don't mean to be rude, but what are you doing? Shikamaru asked, voicing out everyone's thoughts. I'm looking for this Daisuke of a person in the bingo book. Why? Asuma asked. Because everyone in the Akatsuki is in the bingo book except for their leader, who we just know is called Pain, nothing else. It's like a tradition. You can't join Akatsuki if you just want to join unless they recognize your talent and have a need for you or you did something to make you an S-rank criminal. Tsunade had finished going through the book. He's not in here, so that means he joined by option A. That means he is dangerous. But he ought to have come from a village, even if it is not part of the 5 great one, at least one that is a shinobi one for him to have gotten shinobi training. Shino said. Nope, not in here, Tsunade replied. Shikamaru then looked at Hinata, who looked like she was in deep thought. Hinata, why weren't you able to spot Daisuke when he moved? Hinata then looked at Shikamaru. I think Daisuke is like Kuriani-sensei, only better. I think he is a genjutsu master. Tsunade looked at Hinata as she remembered a visit she had from Jiraiya earlier that day. Flashback. Tsunade was growling angrily as she signed of another one of the demonic papers on her table that didn't seem to decrease. God help us if papers should suddenly develop legs and instincts of war, she thought. She was broken out of thoughts by the opening of the window and she turned towards the sound to see Jiraiya coming in. "Hey Haim, did you miss me?" Jiraiya asked while spreading his arms out for a hug. But too bad Tsunade was in a bad mood from the paperwork and also knew he was going to grope her too, and he turned out to be what Tsunade needed. A frustration relief dummy as Tsunade gave him a knuckle punch to the head, sending him out through the window to the hot springs. Anyone who listened well who have heard Jiraiya cries of pain as he had landed in the female side. She looked as Jiraiya came back through the same window. "Is that the kind of welcome I get?" he asked the slug princess, though not expecting an answer. "Why are you here, Jiraiya?" Tsunade asked. "Why, can't I visit anymore?" Jiraiya asked back. "You stopped coming to Konoha 2.5 years ago when the brat went missing, so why are you here?" Jiraiya sighed as he stared at the door of the Hokage's office. Ever since Naruto disappeared it hit Tsunade hard, and whenever she heard his name always made her sad, so she refrained from saying his name and instead called him brat. "I come with bad news, Tsunade," Jiraiya said. "What is it? Is there going to be another invasion? Damn, I should have known when I won the last lottery." Tsunade said with her hands on her head. "No Tsunade, there is going to be no invasion. It's just that I remembered that I could have the toads reverse summon Naruto back from wherever he is." Tsunade looked at Jiraiya with wide eyes and would have broken his skull for not remembering earlier, but didn't because of the good news. "That is good news, isn't it?" Tsunade asked. "That's the problem. When I checked the summoner's scroll, Naruto's name was written in red." "So what's the problem?" Tsunade asked. "When a summoner's name is written in red, that means that the person is dead or has terminated his contract, and since Naruto doesn't know how to terminate a summon contract, we believe he is dead," Jiraiya said with heavy heart. Flashback end. "You guys, I have bad news. Jiraiya dropped by earlier this morning to give me a very bad news," Tsunade said. "There's no more sake available in Konoha and the neighboring villages. Damn, my bad luck horoscope just had to be right," Kakashi said as he started sweating grievously. "No, that isn't it, and why do you need a bad luck horoscope? What is even a bad luck horoscope?" Tsunade replied back in confusion. "Don't worry, Tsunade-sama," Kakashi said, relief evident on his face, as he had wanted to go soak himself in sake after the mission they just had and maybe see if he could hit a girl for the night. "Naruto Uzumaki is dead," Tsunade said as she heard two gasps. "What?" Kiba shouted. "Jiraiya came in this morning to tell me that he could have reversed summoned Naruto, but his name was written in red, signifying that either he was dead or he terminated the contract, and seeing he doesn't know how to do it, he assumed the other option." Hinata broke down into tears as she opened the door and ran out. "Damn greater bad luck horoscope," Kakashi swore. "You have two of them?" Kuriani asked. "What did the first say?" Asuma asked. "There will be sake shortage for the next 3 days in your village and neighboring villages," Kakashi answered. "And the other?" Kiba said as the others looked at him. "You will receive a tragic news today," Kakashi finished. Tsunade exhaled and pressed down a button on her desk. "Shizune, please bring 4 bottles of sake," she said as she removed her finger from the button after she was done. Shizune stepped in and fidgeted as she looked at Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, the brewery stopped producing sake as of yesterday as they didn't have enough workers to keep up with the high constant demand for sake from Konoha, so there is no sake in Konoha or its neighboring village," Shizune said. In the distance everyone could hear a thundering and no unknown place. Daisuke sat on a rock in the main Akatsuki hideout, devouring his 7th bowl of ramen as other bowls yet to be eaten were by his side waiting for their destined demise. "Son of a bitch stole my wallet." Hey, Naruto heard as he looked up to see Deidara, Sasori and Konan approaching him. Deidara had his full attention into a book which he recognized as Icha. Konan was scowling at him because of his shameless attitude, and Sasori was just Sasori. Naruto stood up to meet them, finishing his last bowl. "Hey guys, successful mission or what?" Deidara did not say anything but brought his face closer to his book, making Konan scowl enlarge. Sasori looked at Naruto as he said, "I didn't get enough time to make them appreciate my art," he said with a frown. Naruto looked at them as he remembered when he joined the Akatsuki. Flashback. Naruto walked through the forest of Lightning Country. He saw a man standing in the way who when he looked closer recognized as Itachi. Naruto stopped walking as he looked at Itachi. The two of them seemed to be locked in some kind of staring contest. Itachi then blinked and looked at Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, I see you left Konoha too, just like my stupid little brother. Naruto with a frown replied, don't compare me to Sasuke, now what do you want? Itachi then took a step forward and answered, I come with an invitation from Akatsuki. We're recruiting new members, would you like to join? Naruto raised an eyebrow up at the strange request. What's in it for me? He asked. Time skip. A man with orange spiky hair and purple eyes that had several concentric circles with piercings on his face looked at Naruto, who stood before him, and the other members except Kankuzu, who wasn't there. So Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune and ex-ninja of Konoha, what makes you think you are fit to join us? Naruto then replied, Itachi wouldn't have come for me if he knew I wasn't good enough. What are your reasons for joining us? Pain asked. Well, Itachi said you guys spent the last few years gathering funds and you take care of your members so long they swear loyalty to you, right? Yes, that is true. Well, I will join your cause as long you take care of my feeding expenses. Itachi, who was behind Pain, witted his eyes at the request as he thought, damn, I give our treasury a few weeks and we are going bankrupt. After all, Itachi knew about Naruto's legendary appetites as he had treated Naruto a few times to ramen when he was still in Konoha, and let's just say he went home a broken man. Deal? Itachi was broken out of his thoughts as he watched Pain shake Naruto's hand, sealing the deal. Damn, Kankuzu will be mad. Now we will taste your abilities. Pain told him. Flashback end. Since then, let's just say Pain never wanted another member. Least they turn out to be like Naruto. Kankuzu too didn't like Naruto because he wasted precious money on soggy noodles. Naruto looked at Deidara as he continued to read his book. Naruto ripped the book out of his hands and looked at it, flipping through pages. Conan, thinking he was another pervert, growled at him. Hey, my book! Deidara yelled at Naruto. Naruto, finishing the last page, closed it and kicked Deidara in what defines him as a man. Deidara let out a girlish scream as he crumbled to the ground. You pervert! I hate perverts, he yelled at him and tossed the book at Deidara, who had anime tears pouring out of his eyes. Naruto then turned and left. Finally, a male who isn't a pervert around here, Conan sighed in relief. I'm not a pervert, Sasori said. Yee, that because I think you're gay, Conan replied. What, was I lying? Conan asked as she turned to face Sasori. Yes, I am not gay, Sasori relied, pointing his finger at her. Well, that's none of my concern. I was on my way to tell Naruto, the only non-pervert in our group, about his new mission until I saw you guys. What about Pain, is he a pervert? Sasori asked. Conan said nothing as she started walking away. She had a suspicion that Pain was a pervert as she normally heard Tendo Pain reading something to Nagato in his office and heard perverted giggles later. What she never knew was that Naruto used his Sharingan to memorize the book as he flipped through the pages. Of course, she never knew he had it. Orochimaru hideout. Orochimaru and Kabuto overlooked Sasuke training from a veranda as they watched as Sasuke tear through an army of sound nens as he channeled lightning chakra through his ninjutsu. Orochimaru-sama, do you think Sasuke is ready? It will soon be time for you to change bodies, and he is still yet to unlock the Mangekyou Sharingan, and you know you can't achieve your dream without it. He said as he looked at Orochimaru, who had a devious smirk. I still have 4 months till it's time for the transfer ritual, I'll think of something. Orochimaru replied. They turned just in time to see Sasuke finish the last nen. They started walking towards Sasuke, who turned to look at them. Hee Sasuke-kun, you look stronger than you were 3 years ago. Sasuke didn't say anything as he clenched his fists and looked at them. I feel stronger, though not sure if strong enough to kill him. I need more power, he thought. I will be in my room if you need me, and with that Sasuke walked away. Orochimaru-sama, don't you think Sasuke can betray you? Kabuto asked. No, Sasuke can't. If he does, I will just put him on a leash like the pet he is. Orochimaru-sama has been too proud, underestimating Sasuke's abilities. I better have an ace in case things get ugly, he thought as he stared at Orochimaru's retreating form. Akatsuki hideout. Naruto-san. Naruto turned to see Conan walking to catch up with him. Yes, what is it, Conan-chan? Naruto asked Conan, who had already caught up with him. Pain-sama wants to entrust an important mission to you, Conan replied. And what will this mission be? Naruto asked. Konan looked at Naruto as she held out a scroll. Unknown location. Naruto walked into a room as he watched Kankuzu count bills of Ryo, an open briefcase half filled with money, the other half on the table in front of him. Yo Kankuzu, Naruto said with a smile. Kankuzu looked up to see Naruto as a frown. What do you want, brat? Though already knowing what Naruto wanted. You know the usual. Kankuzu then grumbled and tossed Naruto a few bills. Naruto counted them and frowned. This isn't enough, and you know that, Naruto said to Kankuzu, who didn't reply but continued counting his money. I took up the issue with Pain-sama and he decided that you only get 2 bowls of ramen a day. Kankuzu finally replied a few seconds later. Naruto then frowned. Fine, I can't go to the stand with this amount, so I will just order. I am going to make Naruto universe improved in technology, so there will be telephones, though the old kinds. And with that he left. Time skip. Kankuzu walked through the Akatsuki hideout as he walked towards Pain's office. He stopped when he saw Konan walking towards him with a sheet of paper that had a few words and numbers written on them with a look that said OMG. Konan stopped in front of him and handed him the paper. Kankuzu glanced at it and gained an horrified look as if he had been told that banks and bounty offices were being closed. What? Akatsuki meeting room. Naruto looked up as he saw Kankuzu come in with enough killer intent that would make Hitaki Kakashi wet his pants. You, how dare you? Kankuzu growled at Naruto, who was eating ramen out of a large bowl that looked big enough to contain 10 medium-sized bowls of ramen and a pack of canned cola by his side. What are you talking about? Naruto asked, clearly confused. Kankuzu showed him the paper, which turned out to be a bill, 2,000 ryo. I told you to order just 2 bowls, but you ordered. I don't know how many, but I know it isn't 2. Naruto gained a look of realization on his face. Oh, that I did order 2. You didn't just specify the bowl size, so ordered 2 extra large bowls and a pack of cola, which you didn't tell me that I couldn't order. Don't you try to play smart with me, Kankuzu growled in anger. Oh, I aren't trying to play smart with you. I am already smarter than you, Frankie Stein, Naruto retorted. I'll kill you, Kankuzu said as he unleashed his masks and ran forward to attack Naruto. Stop, a thunderous voice sounded, causing Kankuzu to stop in his tracks. Pain-sama, Kankuzu greeted as he spotted the other Akatsuki members coming into the room. I will not condone any fighting in here, Pain said as he came out of the shadows. My apologies, Pain-sama, it won't happen again, Kankuzu said. Naruto didn't say anything as he finished the last of his ramen. Now for important matters, Pain started. Kisame, you and Itachi are in charge of capturing the Nanabi. Hidan and Kankuzu, you guys are in charge of the Nibi. Sasori, Deidara, you are to capture the Rokubi. Naruto, you know. Pissed, the hissing sound of something opening interrupted him. The members looked towards the origin of the sound and found Naruto drinking one of his cola. Naruto stopped drinking when he noticed everyone was staring at him. What? I was thirsty, he said as everyone including Pain sweat dropped. Naruto ran through the forests as he remembered his mission. Flashback. Pain looked at Naruto as Nato finished his cola. Your mission is to find the Scroll of Eons. It was rumored to be found in Waterfall Village, though not a specific location was given. You will find all the information you need in the scroll you were given. With that, Pain left. Flashback end. Naruto dropped down from the trees as he thought what he read about the Scroll of Eons, known to contain a fabled technique left by the Sage of Six Paths, said to contain the technique the sage used to seal the Jubi within himself. If Pain or Obito needs that technique, that means that they are planning to become the Jubi's Jinchuriki, he thought as he trekked to Waterfall, opening a can of cola and taking a sip from it. Konoha. Tsunade looked at the dubbed Konoha 10 and their senseis as they stood at ease before her and Jiraiya. As you all know, the Junin exams are next week and has been held at the Waterfall Village, so you leave today. But there is a mission that you will use the exams as a cover for, Tsunade said. What is the mission, Tsunade-sama? Hinata asked. Jiraiya stepped forward. To find the Scroll of Eons, he replied. What this Stone of Eons? Kuriani asked. The Scroll of Eons, said to contain the most powerful jutsu of the Sage of Six Paths. Jiraiya answered again. Wait, his real? Kiba asked. I thought he was just a fairy tale. No, he is real. What is this technique? Kakashi asked with curiosity. It contains the technique the sage used to seal the Jubi within himself. Wait, there's a Jubi? Choji. Yes, and it comprises of all the tailed beasts. It was the one that gave birth to the Biju, Jiraiya answered. Damn, something stronger than the Kyuubi, Shikamaru swore. So we're to go for the Junin exams but use it as a cover to look for the scroll, Hinata said. Yes, but shouldn't we tell the waterfall village in case they know where it is? Shino asked. No, the waterfall village wouldn't let it out and they might kick you out of their village. The waterfall village might be a shinobi village but it doesn't have the resources to defend itself if two S-rank shinobis like the Akatsuki were to attack it. That's why it is a minor shinobi village, Tsunade replied. Now you guys are to depart in an hour and good luck, and you will be accompanied by Suna shinobi Tamari. Hi Tsunade-sama. And with that they left, leaving Tsunade and Jiraiya alone in the office. UGHH. I hate being Hokage, Tsunade groaned. It isn't going to be so bad now, Jiraiya said. I guess you are right, with the Junin exams the council will have more things to worry about than making requests. After all, they do want power, Tsunade said, nodding her head. Tsunade-sama, this came in this afternoon, Shizune said as she walked into Tsunade's office carrying a mountain load of paperwork. She closed the door behind her and dropped the papers on Tsunade's table and walked out. Jiraiya and Tsunade looked horrified as they swore they heard the table crack. Well, their fears were confirmed when the table snapped into two, crashing onto the ground and scattering the papers. Want to go get a drink? Jiraiya asked. You're talking my language, Tsunade replied. And with that they left, but though the window so as Tsunade could avoid Shizune. Waterfall Village. Naruto looked around as he saw the village organizing for the Junin exams, people running about with decorations and ninjas patrolling the streets with foreign nins coming into the village. Looks like I will have to use the exams as a cover to avoid suspicion. It will be a drag if I was caught. I don't really feel like kicking ass. What a drag. I think I'll go in as a round, and Naruto thought. Somewhere in the Fire Country's trees. Shikamaru was running among the others when he suddenly sneezed and almost missed his footing on the tree he jumped to. Troublesome, someone is talking about me, Shikamaru said. I told you not to sleep in the rain, but you said it's too troublesome to walk back in cause the door is too far away, Tamari retorted at him. Waterfall Village. Naruto was walking among the civilians looking for any clues to the scroll when. That scent, it can't be, no way. And he started running forward with people staring at him like he was crazy. Ramen, Naruto screamed in delight as found a ramen stand and hurried to get a seat. Naruto looked around to see Yu was also there and saw only a girl who looked like she was in her teens and had mint-colored hair and neon-colored eyes, who was eating alone and looked to be sad. Naruto ordered and sat next to her. Hey, you look like you could use someone to talk to, Naruto said to her. The girl looked shocked as if she had never expected him to talk to her. Why are you talking to me? The girl asked. Why shouldn't I not talk to you, as it isn't like you've done anything to me? If he is talking to me for no reason, then he isn't from the village. He must be one of the shinobis participating in the Junin exams. Since he doesn't know me, it would feel nice to talk to someone. I'm sorry about that. I'm Fu, the girl said. Daisuke Kenpachi, Naruto said. Hey kid, I sense the seven tails chakra in her. She should be its Jinchuriki. Hey Kurama, you're awake. You've been asleep for the past 4 months. I was starting to think you were dead. What? I can't die. I'm a demon, for goodness sake. That means I'm a goddamn immortal. Whatever, Naruto replied. Fu looked at Naruto, who seemed to be in some kind of trance. What's he thinking about, she thought. You know you still have to master your Sharingan. You've only learned Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu, and you know if you want to trash Obito in a battle of Mangekyo you need to master Susanoo and Kamui. Right now you can barely take on pain even with my chakra, since you've only mastered 4 tails. Sigh. I know Kurama, but troublesome. Naruto cut off Kyuubi and looked at Fu, who was staring at him. Fu saw Naruto had caught her staring at him and she blushed. What's with her? Why's her face red? Isn't being a Jinchuriki supposed to not let you get sick? Naruto thought in confusion. So you drink Coke? Naruto asked as he brought out 2 cans of cola from nowhere. Is that all he has to say? Fu thought, a giant sweat drop behind her head. No, I don't like Western drinks with high sugar content, Fu answered. Well, your loss, though a certain doctor told me taking cola before battle promises a 100% success. Huh, doctor? Who? Fu asked in confusion. Guess? Naruto told her with a smirk. Tsunade of the Sannin? Fu asked, hoping she was right. No, guess again, Naruto said, the same smirk on his face. I don't know, just tell me. After all, Western drinks are expensive in this part of the world, so no one really takes it. Naruto looked at her with his fox-like grin. Me. Fu sweat dropped at his answered. Well, see you later, Fu, Naruto said as he stood up and left. Fu looked at where Naruto sat and sweat dropped as she saw 2 stacks of ram bowls, both stacks threatening to fall, and 3 cans of cola by its side. Fu moved her stool to the left and thought, how did he eat that much without me noticing? Konoha Shinobis. The ninjas just arrived at the gate as they saw other village shinobis entering the village, some giving them dirty looks like the earth nins. Well, I think we should first check into our hotel. Then we go check out the village, look for clues to the scroll, and if we see any Akatsuki members we call for backup, understood. Hi. The Leaf Shinobis were checked into one of the best hotels in the Waterfall Village. Kakashi brought them into the boys' room and around a map on the table in TH room. They recognized it as the drawing of the Waterfall Village. After all, they were made to study most of the village's maps in the academy. We go in 3 groups, 5 in 2, 1 and 3 in the last. Each group will have 2 trackers, a heavy hitter, a medic and one who will cover the medic in case we meet the Akatsuki. Group A will cover the west and north side while Group B will take the east and south side, be back by sunset. Group C, that is me, Asuma and Kuriani, will go to the restaurant where the Junin senseis are eating to snoop for information. Kakashi said, why can't I be part of the Group C? Choji asked. No, Choji, remember you are bad at information gathering when it is always close to a food place, Asuma said. No, I'm not, Choji retorted. Is that true? Asuma asked. Flashback to Team 10 mission in Kumo. Now, Choji, do you remember your part of the plan? Asuma asked. Yes, go into the eatery and sit close to the Chunins and try to listen to what they're saying and snoop out important information. Choji answered. Now go, and remember this is a top A rank mission, and if we fail you know the Anbu will go in OO, and remember to relax, Asuma said. Choji nodded and walked into the eatery, removing his headband so as no one will know he was a ninja, and sat at the left table close to the targeted Chunins. It was far enough to not draw suspicion but close enough to listen to their conversation. Choji picked up the menu card and pretended to be reading it while listening to what they were saying. He keeps it in a scroll marked with a red ink with the kanji survivor, one Chunin said. He has the best ones, but we still have in supply at the. Choji's concentration was broken when the waitress asked him for what he wanted to eat. He opened the menu and had his mind blown by what he saw. I'll have a lot spicy barbecue ribs, red dango with red bean soup. Everyone looked at Choji as he kept on ordering, the waitress trying to keep up with what his order. And finally, for dessert, I'll try your red storm ramen challenge. The waitress looked at Choji in worry. Are you sure the last guy that did it 2 months ago is still in the hospital after having a surgery for major mouth, throat and intestine burns? Yep, Choji still said. 3 hours later, Team 10 walked into the restaurant to see a fat Choji. Well, they weren't sure if he gained size since he was already fat, eating a bowl of ramen that had red steam coming out of it, and should I say its soup looked like it was boiling. They all sat on the remaining chairs at the table and looked at Choji, who had a seriously scalet face. So what did you find out? Ino asked. Oh, he keeps it in a scroll marked with kanji for survivors, as he tried to eat with his chopsticks before seeing his 4th chopstick starting to burn. What else again? Shikamaru asked. They said something else, but let me see if I can remember, Choji said. I knew it, you were going to be distracted by food, Ino shouted at him. Hey, at least I did part of the plan. I relaxed and sat close to them, Choji retorted back at her. Flashback end. Ha. That was good memory, Choji said with drool pouring out his mouth. No, it wasn't. We failed the mission and you were admitted in the hospital for indigestion. The foods you ate had to be plunged out of your stomach, Ino yelled. Whatever, it's his tummy, not ours. Move out, Kakashi said. Group A was Hinata, Kiba, Shikamaru, Tenten and Rock Lee. Group B was Shino, Choji, Ino, Neji and Sakura. They all headed out together but left in different directions when they got out. Group A. The members of Group A walked down the street as Hinata used her Byakugan to spot for hidden openings in the village. Instead of us just walking around, why not check the library for the scroll? Asked Rock Lee. You are saying, do we even know how this scroll looks like? I mean, it could be a myth, Kiba said. Yee, if the scroll contained that much power, wouldn't the sage have destroyed it? Tenten. Hinata, what are you thinking about? Shikamaru asked as he looked at Hinata, who looked like she was in deep thought. Just thinking about the sage hiding it, or what about if he buried it in one of this building s were built on the spot? What do we do? Hinata asked. Wait, you mean you've seen it? Kiba asked. No, just asking, she said. If it comes to that, we will have to ask the senseis, Shikamaru said. Group B went to the museum to check on their information on the Sage of Six Paths. As they were going through it, Neji stumbled on a scroll that was hidden in one of the jars that were there. Hey guys, I found something, Neji said as the others gathered around him. Shino checked if anyone was looking as Neji put his hand into the jar to get the scroll. All right, it's a scroll, but is it what we are looking for? Asked Sakura. Neji opened it to see. What? It's empty. An empty scroll in a museum must be something. Let's get it back to the senseis, Ino said. At the library, the members of Group A searched through the library, mostly the part that dealt with history. Anyone who saw them thought they were interested in their village history. Damn, this place is big, almost as huge as Konoha's library. What am I saying? I've never been there, Kiba said. Hinata went towards the maps and drawings part of the library, looking for a map that she could use for moving round the village. She picked a scroll, and as she drew it out, another dusty, old-looking scroll fell out. She picked it up and kept it back before opening the map she took, but kept it back. Apparently the map dated back 50 years. As she turned to leave, she stopped and looked at where she kept the old scroll that fell. She looked around and saw all the scrolls were old-looking. That meant she was where they kept old scrolls. Using her Byakugan, she looked at the scrolls and found none of them looked as old as the one she saw. She then took it and opened it, but what she saw wasn't what she expected. 5 days ago, Orochimaru's study. People who knew Orochimaru knew he was a scientist, and as such he needed to always research, and to research you need books. But the amount of piles of books that mainly dealt with the tailed beast and their creator was fascinating. Orochimaru was also a collector by heart, so he collects old artifacts, but mainly what he knows will benefit him either in that present situation or in the future. So him having a book that was written by Asura Otsutsuki, the first son of the Sage of Six Paths, on the battle and its aftermath between his father and the 10-tailed beast wasn't surprising to most people. It took a while, but I finally managed to gather enough information on it, Orochimaru said to himself. Knock, and with that Sasuke and Kabuto entered to meet Orochimaru, who had one of those smirks that said, "Yes, I finally got it." "You sent for us, Orochimaru-sama," Kabuto said. "Yes, indeed I did," Orochimaru replied. "I finally found a way to get my revenge on Konoha, and it might be dangerous, but I'm 65% sure it will work." "Well, good for you, but I've got no grudge with Konoha, so I don't see why I should waste my energy and chakra fighting them," Sasuke said with arms crossed in boredom. Well, Sasuke-kun, don't you want to taste your strength against your former comrades and see their level compared to yours? You might have also fought Naruto if he hadn't left Konoha, but now I'm sure he's leaving a civilian life because he could never go far in the shinobi world with just shadow clones, and even with the Kyuubi chakra, he's no match for an Akatsuki member, Kabuto concluded. "If that's the case, what's the plan?" Sasuke asked. "Well, I've been researching on a scroll called Scroll of Eons for 10 years now, and it was until 4 years ago I found a book written by the sage's son that I got a breakthrough." "So what's this scroll about and where is it, Orochimaru-sama?" Kabuto asked. "The sage's ultimate sealing technique, and it is located in Waterfall Village, though I don't know where," Orochimaru answered. "Though there is one fall. What is it, Sasuke?" Now, a red-colored blade flew through the air. As it traveled, part of the red dropped off it, revealing it to be the crimson life force of someone as it flew through a man garbed in Taki Chunin uniform. Damn, how did this happen, Naruto thought. Flashback. Naruto entered the Junin exams as a Runin and called himself Daisuke Inoue. He was paired up with 2 partners as the first stage demanded a team of 3. His teammates were a guy called Shisui Karaki and Hinata Hyuga. He could still remember the last time he saw her. Flashback. Naruto panted as he ran towards the gates, trying to get there in time as he ran across the rooftops. He pasted a combined Team 8 and 10 who were returning from a mission. Hinata, who was looking at the names of the shops they pasted by, saw he flash by. "Naruto-kun," she thought. "Anyo, please, I just remembered I have to do something at home. I can't follow you to see the Hokage," she said to the others. "No problem, go ahead," Kuriani said. "Thanks, Kuriani-sensei," as she took to the roofs. Naruto saw the gates were a little further and he started walking towards it. Anyo, Naruto-kun, are you going on a mission? What about your team? He heard. Naruto turned back to see Hinata, though she was red for some reason. Damn, I've been sighted, what should I do? Wait, I can think of 4 options. Use jutsu to knock her out. Nah, if she's like her dad then it won't work, besides it only works for males. Knock her out. Nah, I can't hit a girl, besides Hinata-chan has never hit me before. Wait, what did I call her? Kill her. Who am I kidding? I don't even know how to skin a turkey for Thanksgiving. Tell her the truth. I'm not that stupid. I'm sorry Hinata-chan, I'm leaving this village, no one needs me here, Naruto said. He was pretty sure he heard someone shout, stupid. I'm not used to writing scenes like this, I even don't like movies that have such scenes in them, especially romantic ones, so I'll just skip. I go back to this later. Flashback. He hadn't heard much about her since then. The bell rang to signal that the first test was about to begin. It was much like the Chunin exams, except that while the forest of death breed monstrous creatures and gigantic trees, the location, place of no return, was said to have bloodthirsty demons in it. To your positions, team, as I call your names. Hi. A KUSA nin replied. The Protor called the names as everyone replied. Hinata Hyuga. Hi. Shisui Karaki. Hi. Daisuke Inoue. Daisuke Inoue? Where the hell is your teammate? The proctor said as he turned to the both of them. He said he wants to get some stuff that will guarantee his survival. Not that it will if he is that weak, Shisui said with a scowl. They waited for 15 minutes and everyone could surely see that the proctor was starting to get pissed off. 5 more minutes and he isn't here, you are disqualified, he said to the both of them. 4 minutes and 29 seconds later. That's it, you are grunt. Everyone turned to see Naruto was pulling a huge sack behind him as he walked towards them, and by the look of things it was heavy. Hey guys. He waved at Hinata and Shisui. Where have you been? The proctor screamed at him. Getting suppliers. After all, if I and my team are going to survive, especially THSE bloodthirsty demons, we need suppliers, Naruto said as he lifted it onto his back. I won't bother asking what's in the sack. Okay, everyone set. Go? He shouted as all the teams ran into the deadly forest. Team HSD, I'll call them that for now when they are together, ran a few meters and stopped to plan their move. Alright, we sip. A loud noise interrupted Shisui as he and Hina turned to see Naruto drinking from a can of cola. Ha! Naruto exhaled in relief as he tossed away the already empty can and bought out another. Cola never lets me down. His teammates watched as he gulped down the second one, then Hinata looked like she remembered something. Anyo Daisuke-san, what are the suppliers you got? She asked. Daisuke grinned and replied, you know we are going to face bloodthirsty demons, so to make sure I survived their encounter I acted based on what I know. I got their weakness. I hope it not what I'm thinking, Shisui thought. Anyo, what are they? Hinata still asked. Daisuke opened the sack and brought out garlics that were joined together, and there was a lot of them, what looked like silver shuriken and a giant torch light that on it read 40 kilowatts. Wait, you think we are up against vampires? Shisui asked. Yep, what other blood-sucking creatures do you know? Daisuke asked. I don't know, maybe mosquitoes, Shisui answered back. That why I prepared, as I said I'm not going to die, there might be a nest of vampire mosquitoes in here, so I bought a pack of garlic-scented insecticide. Anyo, how did you get those? Hinata asked. Obviously I bought them at the market, Daisuke replied. Idiot, she's talking about the insecticide. We all know there's nothing like a garlic-scented one. Oh, there is. Apparently I saw this old guy that makes insecticides and stuff, and he made a lot of garlic-scented ones because he thinks that there are some mosquitoes that are vampires in disguise. That is why some of them take a lot blood than normal. It was then they smelled a foul odor. Oh, what is that? Shisui asked. Oh, it's the garlics. I told the guy the first bought the super spicy ones. After all, if they are super spicy they work faster, Daisuke replied. Anyo, Daisuke-san, you still have more suppliers in your bag. What are they? Hinata asked. Oh, this is back up, Daisuke said as he brought out cups of ramen. This is garlic and chicken flavor, and due to its name you wouldn't expect it to be sweet, but it just has a small hint of garlic and lots of chicken, though to a vampire that's enough to do justice, Daisuke said. Nasni shouted out the last and pumped his hand, and unfortunately dropping the cup, making it fall and spill on the ground. No, Daisuke screamed as he knelt before the spilled noodles. I'm doomed. How many years of my life has been sucked away? A month, Year or probably my entire life. With that he broke into anime tears. Come on asshole, let's get moving, and with that they left. Hidden in the trees a team of Kumo Nin who had seen this had huge sweat drops with thoughts that said, WTF. Nightfall. Team HSD settled to camp under a tree. So far so good, they hadn't come across any team, monstrous creatures or vampires. As they watched the fire burn, Daisuke took out a garlic and threw it into the fire. Wait, I thought you needed to protect yourself, Shisui asked. Yep, I am protecting myself. As the fire burns the garlic, it makes the garlic release its toxic smell, scaring anything with a nature that says vampire. They could hear rushing in the woods as twigs snapped. See, that means I was right, Daisuke said as he threw in another two. Daisuke was half right, and that was about the fire releasing the garlic scent, but he was wrong about two things. The scent wasn't toxic, neither did it drive the creatures away, rather it was the opposite. As Shisui watched the fire, he threw in another garlic as it had been silent for the past 2 hours, was starting to believe Daisuke's theory. But all of a suddenly it became deadly quiet. Even the birds that were the source of little noises he had been hearing stopped, as if they were quieted by something or someone. Shisui woke up his teammates as he stomped out the fire. What the big idea waking us up at 2:30 a.m. You better have a good reason or I'll stomp you like you did that fire, Daisuke ranted at him. First, how did you know it's 2:30 a.m.? You have no wristwatch. Secondly, I think we are been watched, Shisui asked. You know you are been paranoid, something watching us, or you are watching yourselves. Really am beginning to regret teaming up with you. Why can't you be like the lady? Daisuke ranted out. Am being paranoid? You're the one who kept preaching about vampires and getting killed. You know what, if we ever encounter one, I'm throwing you towards them, or if we don't, I'll send them your house address, Shisui retorted in anger. Gasp, asshole, Daisuke. Bitch, Shisui. Head, shitface. Guys, Hinata. Son of a bitch. Sucker. Guys. Hey, give that back to me, it looks like my ass, Daisuke said as he pointed to Shisui's face. That's not what your mom said before she made out with it, Shisui retorted. Why you? Daisuke said as he moved to attack Shisui. You guys. Hinata screamed. Yes, hottie, Daisuke said as they turned to her. Behind you, Hinata said. Daisuke and Shisui turned, and what they saw was something you will see in only in books: a giant orc with a club, and behind him were 4 others. I'm sorry, Daisuke pleaded as he knelt before them. I wouldn't have insulted him if I knew he was related to you guys. Yes, father, please forgive grandfather, Shisui said as he also knelt before them. Ha ha ha, he finally confessed, ha ha ha, but he stopped laughing as Shisui's last words came back into play. Please forgive grandfather. Hey, what are you trying to say? That I'm a family member, you monkey, Daisuke. Oh yeah, if I was part of your family then I would have been adopted, because clearly I didn't gain the looks of the family, Shisui. Well, that's not what I heard when I saw your mom sucking its DK, Daisuke retorted. Guys, please stop arguing and pay attention, Hinata pleaded. By now even the group of orcs now had sweat drops as they watched the puny humans fight. Blood, need blood, the smallest of the orcs as his eye glowed red. That alone was enough to make shut Daisuke up and shiver in his boots, thinking, damn vampire orcs. It was then that hell got loose. The orcs ran towards them as Team HSD got into their various stances. Shisui ran towards them, and when he got close he jumped forward. While in the mid-air he cupped his mouth, fire style, grand firefall sweep, and with that he exhaled out the largest fire stream that Hinata had seen. It looked like lava, though it was like the dragon fire she saw in the movies. The stream, just like its name, spat out from Shisui, who was in the air like a waterfall, and poured over the orcs like when it forms its river. You could hear the orcs' screams in the inferno. Their screams were loud and painful that Shisui stopped, whether from pity for the orcs or he was out of chakra for the technique, no one knew, but Daisuke was not ready to have his blood taken. Wind style. Wine from the mountain gods, as a small tornado rose in the midst of the fire, creating a bigger inferno. The orcs' screams continued as the fire raged. Daisuke watched with a smile of safety and accomplishment as his teammates looked at him with a look that, crazy. After a while the fire stopped and Daisuke's smile turned upside down as the orcs he tried to turn to barbecue stood in there grunting in anger, its eyesight on Shisui as he was the one they saw attack them. FKU, Daisuke told them as he gave his middle finger to the one in the middle. Run, And with that, let's just say that if Daisuke was alive in the Third Ninja War, the 2 seconds the yellow flash used to decimate the IWA shinobis would have been reduced to 1 or maybe less. But orcs too were great runners, and with their giant size they covered more ground. One orc ran after Shisui while the remaining 2 went after Hyanta and Daisuke. Daisuke, seeing Hinata could no keep up with his amazingly speed, picked her up and Sonic dashed towards the trees. He landed on the tree branch. He turned to face the approaching orcs, brought out a garlic and put it in his mouth and spat it out with a fireball jutsu towards the incoming orc. The orc ate the fireball along with the garlic and Daisuke was dumbfounded. What, he ate it? How is that possible? Vampires or anything of a vampire nature hates garlics, he said as he grabbed Hinata by the shoulders and shook her. No, Daisuke-kun, they are orcs, and according to legends orcs eat men, so that means they also take in their blood. It must have gotten added to it. They are not vampires, they are just strongly carnivores, Hinata said. Oh okay, Daisuke said with a dumbfounded look. Hinata looked at Daisuke. I have a plan, we can use it to escape. Daisuke nodded as he and Hinata jumped to avoid the incoming hit. It easy. I believe the orcs are attracted by garlic, so if we use the garlic scent and spread it around, the orcs would be confused on which scent to follow. Daisuke nodded and gave half of the remaining garlics to Hinata and they separated to spread it around. Soon after they met up under a tree, the garlics getting burnt in different parts of the forest. The orcs, not knowing which scent to follow, retreated. Pui, that was a close one, Daisuke said. Let's look for Shisui-san, Hinata suggested. Daisuke nodded and they left. They found Shisui sitting under a tree, his shirt off as he was soaking wet over a fire. They all sat down to rest. Naruto, I'll start referring to him by his true name, then brought out the last instant ramen he kept. He had burnt the rest while having a dying wish in his heart. Wait, Daisuke-kun, that doesn't happen to be a garlic-flavored ramen? Hinata asked. And chicken, yep, he replied. Wait, she screamed, but it was too late. Naruto had already opened the cup and HW was sitting close to the fire. Throw it away quick, far from here, Shisui shouted. Naruto did throw it far away, into the fire for it to burn. That was far away. You a-hole, do you know what you've done? Shisui shouted at him. You asked me to throw it far away, and since I didn't know how far I could throw it, what better why than to boom? Daisuke was interrupted as an orc broke through the trees, and funny enough it was the same Daisuke gave the middle finger. They all knew because of the bump on its head. ROARR, he roared at them. Ha! Daisuke screamed as he ran into the forest, and funny enough the orc followed him, not seeing Hinata or Shisui, and poor Daisuke was in trouble because he had sprayed garlic insecticide on himself to ward off vampire mosquitoes. Should we go after him? Hinata asked, clearly tired. Nah, he will be fine. Someone who is able to use that type of wind jutsu can take care of himself, Shisui said, also seriously tired. HELPPPMEEE. A scream echoed through the forests and ROARRR followed, letting anyone who heard it pray for them victim's soul. The next time they saw Daisuke was 3 days later, after they had beaten down a Suna team and taken their scroll. They all met in the tower where they were supposed to rest, and he looked pretty roughened up if the bump on his head was to say anything. They weren't surprised when he slept for 2 days straight, must be suffering from a lot of headache caused by the hit, the thought. Other teams came in like all the Konoha ninjas except 1, 2 Suna teams, 1 Kumo team, 1 Taki team and 2 Kiri and IWA teams. 2 days after, it was time for the last stage where they fought team on team. I'll skip the boring parts and get to the main thing. All the Leaf Ninjas won, and now down to the last fight. There were 3 teams left, and so as to make it a hot match for the people watching, as all the Cages and Demios were watching, they put all 3 of them against each other. Team HSD versus Kumo team versus Leaf team, Kiba, Rock Lee and Tenten. Ready, set, start. And with that both Daisuke and Shisui ran forward, leaving Hinata in their dust. In their eyes you could see competitiveness. They first ran towards the Kumo team as they fired their attack at them. Lightning style, crack point. Lightning style, bolt explosion. Lightning style, lightning flow. Daisuke and Shisui shocked the audience as instead of blocking it they step-sided all 3 attacks, not stopping a bit as they continued their run. Here's a real lightning jutsu, Shisui said. Lightning style, anger of Zeus. Everyone watched as dark clouds covered the skies and yellow lightning struck across the skies. Water style. Water pistol, Daisuke said as he shot 3 water bullets at the 3 ninjas. Oh no, everyone thought as they now knew what Daisuke and Shisui planned to do. Lightning fell from the skies, shocking all 3 Kumo ninjas, burning them to a crisp. Water plus lightning equals bad news, dude. Everyone was horrified at the way the both of them took out the Kumo nins. How were they sure they didn't even kill them? Daisuke and Shisui turned their sights to the Konoha nins and set on to eliminate them like they did the Kumo nins. Lightning style, water style. Anger of Zeus, water dragon. As both attack came down in slow motion, the Konoha nins, who were still in shock of what happened, were too slow to react, but Hinata was faster. She appeared in front of the Konoha nins and 100 wind gale palm, using it to deflect the attack. Is this the way you betray teammates not from Konoha? Shisui asked. I'm sorry, I can't just let you kill my comrades, Hinata apologized. Daisuke and Shisui nodded at each other and ran towards the Konoha ninjas, both of them bearing their swords. Tenten Yu sealed 2 katanas as she readied herself while the others got into fight stances. As Daisuke got close, he whispered, 8 cardinal attack, and 7 shadow clones plus him surrounded Kiba, dancing mantis queen. And with that the 8 of them spun around Kiba and round kicked him, sending him into the wall, which bounced him back as the Naruto's delivered series of kicks that gave Kiba series of bouncing back towards his opponents, which was strange because the walls which was supposed to have been smashed through by Kiba were still intact. By the end of the combo, a white flag was standing on Kiba's butt. Kakashi, how is that possible? Kuriani asked, currently flabbergasted. Kuriani, for once I don't know, Kakashi replied. Shisui turned his sights on Tenten, engaging her in a kenjutsu battle. For now it seemed, even until Rock Lee joined the fray, Konoha Senpu. Shisui shuzzled away and, lightning style, raging hyena, as he released a lightning flow that flowed towards Tenten. Its tips were hyenas. Damn, he planned that. He might have figured that Tenten was a weapon user and used lightning on her, and with all that metal in her pockets, I pray she doesn't actually smell like panda. Kakashi sighed. Rock Lee appeared behind Tenten and grabbed her just in time before the lightning hit her, though he wasn't lucky, as before left soul could leave the ground it was electrocuted. Aarruggh, Lee grunted in pain as he landed away with Tenten watching Shisui as he stood there with a smirk like he was playing with them. You're in my field of divination, 8 trigrams 60 palms, Hinata said as she appeared behind Shisui and tried to attack him, but, bam, Naruto appeared in front of her and kicked her away. Looks like she hasn't changed, Naruto thought. Yep, still the same shy girl who would go into danger for the sake of her friends. You know she got that from you. Kyuubi said. I know, Grohl, not now, Naruto whined. The Leaf Nin regrouped and attacked together except Kiba, who had been taken off the field, and Shisui ran towards them. Wyatt? Naruto, who was going to be in the middle of the clash, screamed. They all paused as he turned to Shisui. You know we haven't eaten, you know, due to the orc incident. Yep, you're right, and with that they both sat down, with Shisui bringing out a bento and removing a burger, some fries and a Pepsi, while Naruto brought out 3 large bowl of miso ramen and a Coca-Cola. Everyone there watched this with jaws on the floor and mega huge sweat drops. What are you doing, Tenten? What does it look like we are eating, Shisui? In a time like this, Hinata. So, Naruto, ye guys there trying to say you guys aren't threats and are nobody, Ino shouted from the crowd. Nobody, Rock Lee whispered as he had flashbacks of when people said he was a nobody. I am not a nobody, 4th gate open. He screamed. He sped towards Shisui and Naruto, hulk drop. As he jumped and smashed his leg onto the both of them, the hit creating a giant cloud of dust. Everyone held their breath as they waited to see what happened next.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and do comments.